Hey everybody, this is going to be my branded Predaplant build. We're going to have many different combos you can go into with this deck. It's a very good deck, getting a bunch of negates and a bunch of board wipes that you can do. We'll get this deck profile started with our main deck. We're going to be running triple copies of our Keeper of Dragon Magic. He's one of our greatest normal summons, straight up getting a branded fusion to hand. Moving on to Predaplants. Another good normal summon is going to be our Predaplant Orthoscorpio. Discarding one of our cards to special summon a Predaplant from our deck. Off his effect, we want to special summon our Chlamydia Sundew, which will fusion into our Predaplant fusion monster. And if you're really lucky, off of Orthoscorpio, you can discard a Predaplant Biblisp. Biblisp, if he is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon, or you can add a Predaplant card from deck to hand. Then we have our Pendulum monster, Buffuliculi. He is just an extra fusion as a pendulum. Off of that, we do have our Predaplant Triantis. His effect in the Pendulum Zone, you can use Pendulum monsters as material for fusion summoning. We also do have our one of Predaplant Darlingtonio Cobra. Effect is to get a fusion polymerization or fusion spell to hand. This does include our Super Poly and branded fusion. We also do run a polymerization card. Moving on to Despia, it's going to be Alibur Jester of Despia. I do recommend running the 3. I currently only have the 1 due to mail issues. He is a great normal summon, and you can special summon him off of branded opening, which is another great way to get him onto the field and to use his effect. We do run one of these. I don't know how to say the name, but it is the level 8, I believe, Despia monster. Is a really good one of, just to have an extra summon if he is used as fusion material. You can special summon him back, and if a fusion monster is special summoned, you can target one monster on the field, negate its effects. Another one of is going to be our Despian Tragedy. If it is sent to the graveyard by any means, you get to add a Despia monster from your deck to your hand. Moving on, we do run our 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz. Of course, you're going to need to run 2 copies. You do usually recycle the first, but sometimes your plays are stopped, and you're going to need the second in deck. For our one-ofs and our garnets of the deck, we're going to run 1 Performer Pelcorn and 1 Stay Sailor Romania. Of course, Stay Sailor is a staple in the branded deck, but Performer Pelcorn, I did see a video, and I don't remember the video guy's name, but I did see a combo you can get with her to bring out one of our fusion monsters from our extra deck. We're going to run 3 copies of Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is just a really good hand trap, and I do believe it's one of the better hand traps of this format. Moving on to spells. Of course, in a branded deck, we're going to run 3 branded fusion. This is our starter of the deck. Many of our normal summons get you straight into this card, so we can get our big monsters on board. To get into that card, we actually do run the triple copy of branded opening to special summon Alibur, and then Alibur's effect would get you branded fusion. We are fusion summoning a lot, and we can use our opponent's monsters with Super Poly. It's a great effect. We do have a Super Poly target, and anything else, you can use your own monsters to fusion summon. For one-ofs, we are going to run 1 branded in red. You can add this to the hand from what Albion. If it's sent to the graveyard during the end phase, you set a branded spell. We're gonna set branded in red, or we do have our branded banishment as well. Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion's another starter of our deck, getting us into our Predaplant to get us into our branded. We are going to run one polymerization. I did think of running Prime, but the issue with Prime is you do have to have 2 monsters on the field to activate its effect. With polymerization, if you search it out, you just get a polymerization, and you can use monsters from your hand as well. Foolish Burial. I've never actually once opened this card, but we do send our, if our effects are negated, we do send our Stay Sailor, or in some cases we do send our Despian Tragedy. We want a copy of Called by the Grave. Just, it's Called by the Grave. You're going to negate a hand trap. For our traps, we're going to run one copy of Predaplanting. It's going to work very well with our Predaplant fusion monster to negate effects, and then one copy of Branded Banishment. Once again, it's like another branded in red, but just with level 8s. Moving on into our extra deck, we are going to start with our Predaplant monsters. We are going to run 2 copies of branded, or no, not branded, Predaplant Ambulance, or something like that. He is our starter. He's going to get us our Darlingtonian Cobra on board, and a Predaplanting to hand to help us with our Predaplant Dracos Despia. Negates all effects that all monsters that have a predator counter on it, and it is a quick effect to add a predator counter onto a monster. We are going to run one of this Predaplant card, Trifovier, I don't know how to say that, but he is just another negate and can be special summoned if my opponent controls a card. For our next Predaplant monster, we have Starving Vena Predapower Fusion. I rarely go into this card because I do value the amount of fusion monsters we do have, but he is a big body with a negate, so he is very useful. Into branded stuff, we have our Lubellion, the Steering Dragon. He's really good to discard our Bibulus from, or any other card that needs to be in the graveyard, like our Despia monsters work very, very well. Moving into Albion, the branded dragon. Now, Albion is just our starter. Go into Albion, and then we'll go into Lubellion. And I do believe that it is worth going into Lubellion to get more of the Predaplant effects. We're going to run into running 2 Mirror Jade, the Ice Blade Dragon. He's just the big boss monster for the branded. For our Despian fusion, we do have a jeez, I forgot his name, but Masquerade the Blazing Dragon. There we go. He is just a great monster to get on board. Anytime your opponent activates an effect, he does have to pay 600 life points. We are going to go into with our Performa Plow Gatlingle. This is why we run the Performa Plow Corn. To go into Gatlingle, Gatlingle's effect, your opponent takes 200 damage for every, I believe it is monster. Nope, it is card. So for each card on the field. And it doesn't have to be face up, so if you have anything set in your spell and traps, you can use it as the effect. Now, something we can use for our Insta Fusion, if we do have a starter, we can go into Millennium Eyes Restrict, just negates a hand trap. And for a Super Poly or an Insta Fusion kind of card, we do have our Mud Dragon of the Swamp. Mud Dragon of the Swamp, it will change its attribute, and the attribute that it is will have its effects negated. Works very well in many scenarios. But that is going to be the deck profile for the branded Predaplant Despia deck that I have going. If you have any ideas, let me know what I can do to improve this deck, because this is a deck I want to continue using for a while, I hope. Thanks for watching.